Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of XA Talk Show. And we are live. We are live, and I'm alive as opposed to dead. Dead or alive. So today we're going to talk about random things. And first of all, okay, let me just ease in by talking about this JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the worst language possible, even today. ES 2015. Good morning, Aldo. So, Aldo, do you have a question? Any topics? Any suggestion? Question suggestion? Let me know a topic so we can talk about that. I don't have a specific topic today, but we'll see what you or other people like to me to talk about. So I'm doing live video. Live video is great. In that live video, the advantage of live, live streaming, live broadcast without delay. Usually, broadcasting they have like 5 minutes delay just in case they want to censor something. The Janet Jackson incident back in 2003 or so. So, but Xa Talk Show, currently it's live. It's live show. It's not prepared. It's not scripted. Nothing wrong with those kind of videos, but it suits me to be live streaming because I talk. I like reduction of the fake news kind of. So let's see. What is that page? So to avoid distraction, let's empty it. So let's go to talk about JavaScript first. Okay. So I have this very interesting puzzle. So let's go to uh, language tutorials, JavaScript in depth. Actually, go to my web dev blog. Okay, so I was coding this thing. So let me show you in start command log mod. Okay, I'm gonna show you live coding of the situation of the problem. First of all, let me make sure you can see my windows and stuff. Okay, so I need to move this window closer to the center, and this window. Okay, so we're gonna talk about JavaScript first. This will be 5 or 10 minutes, but let me know what topics you want. Okay, any questions? And you like this is a talk show. You chat things and I talk about it. So first of all, let's go to the JavaScript. So you have this very interesting JavaScript. I run into JavaScript is one of the worst language. Okay, so let's go to JavaScript blog. Okay, and let's go to, so here is a script. So let's show it. Well, actually, I don't want to. Let me just create a new JavaScript window. Okay, so I'm meaning that I'm going to show you in real time. So first of all, we are going to create a map. Uh, constant map m1. Okay, so new map. Okay, so this is going to give us a map. Then I'm going to add an entry map set. Okay, and one, and the key is one, value is a. So what does that mean is that you run it, you run it and you get this map. Map is like a dictionary of Python or hash table of Ruby. In Java, it's called map. In JavaScript, Java too, it's also called map. So you have, I'm using the set method to create a new entry with key 1 and value a, and that works. Okay, then I'm going to yeah, so let's for example, let's do this. keys. Okay, this is going to show all the keys in the map. Console log. Okay, and I'm going to also do values. Okay, run it. You see, so you can see here that here's the result. So I want to show all the keys, and all the keys is just one because we only have one entry, one keys, and all the values is just that, just one entry. A is the value, and if we show the whole thing, that is that. See, so map is key value pairs. That's JavaScript. This function, this object is new in 2018. I mean 2015, ES 2015. Okay, so we add, remember the set method is used to add a new entry, and the order of the arguments are key and value. Okay. Next, now let's do a for each statement. Okay, so I'm going to M1 for each. Okay, and for each you need a function. So function arrow function key and value. Okay, actually arrow function, the value comes first. It takes, the arrow function takes two arguments. The value comes first. Then I'm going to console log print keys. Okay, so this should print every key in the map. Okay, let's try it. There it is. It works. It says 1. Okay, so there it is. It says 1. Now let's try to print values. Okay, val. Okay, and run it, and it returns A, which is correct. Now notice that when you do a for each method, it takes one argument, required argument, and this argument must be a function. And so we are using a function here, and this function takes two arguments, value and key. Remember, it must be in this order: value first, then key. How do we know? Because we run it and it checked out, 1 and A. So now let's do this. Okay, now we create a new map. Okay, so we create a new map M2, and we want to for each, they are cleaning my neighbors are cleaning the street with this giant truck. It's very noisy, annoying. So anyway, so M2 dot for each, and what we are going to do is that we are going to arrow function. Again, arrow function is value and key. Okay, then here we're gonna say M2 dot set. Okay, we're gonna add the entries to M2, and we want M2 to be key value. So in essence, we want to reverse the keys and values. So key becomes values, value becomes keys. So we are creating a new map such that the keys and values are reversed from M1. Okay, so and we run that. It runs. Okay, and now let's try to print it. Print M2. Let's see what we got. Okay. So hold on a second. We want to, here should be M1 here. So let's run it, and here is the result. Here is the result. You see, the result is actually the same as M1. So this is very strange. I was coding in one of my project in a Unicode run stuff. So I want to have a function that reverse and key value pairs of a map. So I started to code this, but the result is not right. It's very strange. if you reverse these two arguments, then it works. You see, then it says A to 1. A is a key, 1 is a value. But that's not how it is, because the key, as we have seen here before, when we use set, the first argument is actually the key, and we also have seen this for each method before. When we use for each method, the function is passed two values, value and key, in that order. How do we know? Because we have tested here, it's value, key, in that order. So when we run this code, value key and set key value, it should give us the desired result, but it's not. So that is the puzzle of the day. JavaScript. Yeah. So JavaScript is a extreme pain in the ass. I mean, I'm kind of a master of JavaScript because I spent 2 years to write this tutorial, JavaScript in depth. I have read uh, I have read two versions of the JavaScript, two versions at least completely, at least one version, 2015, the JavaScript specification. So I know JavaScript pretty well, but JavaScript, every time I code it, it's always this got a lot of issues. It's kind of just waste your time. And today I'm running into this puzzle. This I haven't figured it out yet. I spent like 30 minutes just an hour ago working on this. I don't know what's the answer. I haven't figured it out. So JavaScript is a major pain. So okay, that finishes one topic. Let's see what. So what other topics should we talk about? Now, this is the time for you to write your questions or whatever. So if so let's go to the next topic. Next topic is going to be. So I want to talk about YouTube. It's like the typical show. I talk about random things, and in general, there's a particular perspective with respect to typically with respect to programming technology, nerds' interests, and philosophy, and humanity. So, but anyway, I want to go over to talk about one of the things I like to talk about is YouTube people. The people I follow. Maybe I can give you a introduction of who they are, and also as a recommendation of who you might want to follow. They are like today billions of YouTube videos. It's rather quite amazing. Like, I've said this before. It's like in the 1990s, I used to go to libraries every day. I know several libraries by heart. I go because I go every day. I go there. I know every corridor. I know every cranny, every corner of the library. I know which position, which place in the library holds what kind of books. But but then you get bored because you go to the library even though there are like hundred thousands of books, but sometimes you go there because you go every day, years after year. You go there, you feel like you don't know what to do. You don't know like what book should I look. You know, you get bored. But until one day you have some particular subject you are interested, like maybe something in the news, you suddenly want to find answer to that particular thing. Then the library suddenly lights up. Because then you start to find the books you need to about that topic. Then you realize there's tons of it, and you my god, and it's like, oh, how come I didn't know that? Because because when you are swimming in a sea of information, you kind of you forgot it. You don't see it. You don't feel this sea of information. It's almost like you are inside a infinity. After a while, you don't see it. So internet is kind of like that. Internet, there are billions. Internet, there are billions of billions of billions of things. Like basically, the entire humanity's information are more or less on the internet. But as every day you get bored. Like internet. Oh yeah, like until maybe someday. Like when something comes up, maybe some about some images, about some forum, about some topics, or about some particular game, it lights up. Then you start to find hundreds of pages you are really interested. Like, my God, how am I ever going to have time to read them all? And you really want to read them all because that's an interesting topic to you. All the personalities you didn't know before. It's like that. So that's internet. Well, and YouTube is actually like that as well. YouTube. There are uh, hold on a second. Let me read the comments. Sound Toxin says, "Hi, Xa, I'm about to go to bed, so I'll watch this recording later." Okay, I just finished the last episode. Okay, now I want to learn how to do the pen trolling. Okay, super. Good night. Uh, good dreams. Hope all is well for you. Um, so back to the YouTube. So YouTube is like it's a sea of information. You don't know how big is a sea until you are dropped into Pacific Ocean, for example. You're gonna die there for sure. So YouTube is kind of sea of information. You don't know. You don't like even if you watch YouTube every day, unless you start to research. It's like you don't know what's out there. It's like topics or people you've never seen before. And yeah, so it's kind of amazing. Okay, it's extremely amazing. So how many people are watching? So if since nobody is making any other comments about topics, I guess I'll just start to talk about, go with the flow about YouTube people. Then there are some YouTube people. So I started to follow YouTube. I start to actually watch. Really pay attention to YouTube since about a few months ago. So I've watched a lot of videos. And some of the people are really interesting. Now, on YouTube, it's it's like in gaming. Okay, let's say in programming now, because most of my followers are programmers. If you program in Java, you know about Java community. Java web frameworks. They have a forum. Each framework has a forum. Maybe there's a particular community about JavaScript functional programming in Java. Okay, and maybe then you hear about the drama of the Java community, or new versions, latest news about Java, and so on. So if you are a Java programmer. Now, however, if you are a Ruby programmer, if you never programmed Ruby, in general, you are not familiar with what's going on in the Ruby community. It's like because there are at least there are 20 most used programming languages. Typically, you as a programmer, even if you have 10 years or 20 years of experience, typically you just focus on maybe five, less than 10 languages. So there are a lot of languages you don't know what they are. You never know what you never studied them. You don't know their news, their community. But each community is usually like there's like 100,000 of people in it, and there's news and drama every day. So if one day, suppose you one day you change job and you switch to a job that requires Ruby, so you start to learn Ruby, and suddenly you realize, oh wow, Ruby community is like a whole new world. And you have news, the people in that community, which what what the people are like. Different people have different personalities. It's usually funny, very different. So community is kind of like that's the whole, the whole you are in. The community, unless if you are not a mathematician, then you have no idea what's going on in the math community. But if you start to, if you are a mathematician, if you have a math degree, then you will know, you might know, math communities, who is, what mathematicians are there, what they are doing, what's news. Some mathematician died, last year or this or today, or you have, and also there's drama. There's some professors, something happened, math professor at UC Berkeley, and because he did this or that, you know so community, so if you think about the whole world, what you know and what you are is really tiny. It's like an ant. Okay, really, it's like the world is vast. So anyway, so I'm talking about, so this is, as an example to illustrate the community, how they, if you are not in a community, you don't know. So in the programming community, gaming is the same. There are like hundreds of different games. If you play a particular game, but then other games, is a huge community like Second Life. I was in Second Life. So same thing with gaming community. And also, if you are a programmer, if you are not a gamer, then you don't know what's going on in the gamer community. So in the same way, okay, on YouTube, there are tremendous number of communities, almost reflect the number of communities in real world. So you have gamer community, yes. So there are a lot of people playing games. You have the teenage community. You have, children community, like people less than 10 years old. Children, like you are the parent, your child. They go watch YouTube, cartoons or things like that. Then you have the, you have programmer community. You are a programmer, I'm a programmer. We watch, there are lots of programming tutorials, JavaScript, discuss, like my channel, talking about Emacs, stuff. So on YouTube, there's tons of communities too. Like almost infinite. It's like, it's understatement to say there are tens of thousands communities. I don't know. It's also hard to give a number, but suffice it to say that there are more communities you can possibly ever spend your lifetime to know. So it's like the saying goes, the tip of iceberg. You don't see it. It's like library. It's like a sea. You do not know what videos are there. And actually, Veritasium, this famous YouTuber, you probably know if you are a programmer, because he's very popular, and his focus is on technology, sciences, physics. Um, Veritasium, very famous. Okay, in fact, he made a video just yesterday talking about how YouTube is the tip of the iceberg. Veritasium, let's go there. So the truth about Veritasium, so anyway, he made a video. So how to go viral? Now that's a clickbait. Okay, so you know him. Uh, let's go somewhere here. Let's see if he, yeah, let's show his face. So this video is worth watching. He's a good, if you like sciences, you can follow him. You probably are already. So he made this video. My video went viral. Here's why. That's kind of a clickbait, but the actual content is about, it's not really about here's why. The real content is about how YouTube is the, he's, the general discussion about YouTube algorithms. the situation about the YouTube. What's going on? What's going on with these billions and billions of videos? He actually mentioned that, like I said, what do you see? There are infinite number of videos you probably will never see in your life. You don't know what they are. He's talking about YouTube algorithms. Okay, so anyway, he mentioned that in this video. But however, there's more things in this video. He's a great guy. So when he talk about something, when he does a video, he usually go in depth, and he usually do research. It's not like bullshit. Okay, it's like lots of YouTubers. They are just comedians or whatever. They bullshit. There's no work involved really. But he does dig into details. But he tells you uh, about the YouTube, how many videos, kind of like that. Okay, that's one thing. But let's kind of switch topic. There's another thing I want to mention that he talked about. He talked about in this video that he's telling us, his audiences, that he is going to start to do clickbaits. Yes, that is what he is saying. He said it. He says that he is going to begin to start to do clickbaits for his own videos. Like why some clickbaits, the dramatic titles which does not reflect the real content. And also he also mentioned that he is starting to use clickbait uh, icons. Yeah, that's is kind of sad. So he's starting to use clickbait titles and icons. So that you know how it is. Sometimes you see these, um, their icons, their images never show in their video. Often, like many of the videos, they're uh, it's just clickbait. It's not. So it just make you click. That's it. Then you watch it maybe for a minute. Then you say, this is shit. But that doesn't matter. Their goal is satisfied. They just want you to click, on it. So anyway, he's talking about he's going to do that, clickbait, and apparently he also realizes this is sad thing for him. He's going to, because things are happening on YouTube and also generally in society. And for me, I was quite amazed. I see this guy. He's one of the most popular YouTubers since like 10 years ago. Okay, he's got 5 million followers. But then a 5 million follow YouTubers. He's starting to do clickbait because he felt, because his reason is that if you don't, you get buried. You get buried in these billions videos. So in a sense, he's saying that you have to, he have to, in order to, I guess, make a living on YouTube, he has to do clickbaits. So that's pretty sad. And also, I was, surprised. This guy's got 5 million followers, and he wanted to do clickbait. Yeah. So that's one thing. Uh, so any questions? No questions? No questions? So who are you guys watching? Let me know. So because if you have comments, then I can. What is this zeitgeist? Zeitgeist, by the way, zeitgeist is a funny word. Okay, zeitgeist. That's an English word. That means zeitgeist means the thought, the mindset of an era. For example, in today's era, let's say the past 5 years or the past 10 years, 2010 era, okay, 2010, to 2020, to today, 2019. The zeitgeist of this era would be probably social justice. It's kind of one of the main thing. So zeitgeist is an English word that means the mindset, the thought, the kind of the trend of an era. So, for example, zeitgeist in the past, in the 1960s, the zeitgeist, some of the zeitgeist would be hippies, free speech, freedom for drugs, marijuana, drugs, uh, cosmology, that's hippies era. So different era you have kind of a zeitgeist, and that's very interesting. I'll talk about that. But let me read the comments. Good morning, Break the Loop. Welcome back. Uh, yeah, what have you been up to the past few days? JavaScript tutorial. JavaScript tutorial. Yeah, I've been working on JavaScript a lot. But let me finish about the zeitgeist. Did you just came on? So I was talking about YouTube. So anyway, zeitgeist is the yeah. So zeitgeist means the mindset or thoughts of an era. Okay. Now the existence of this word is very interesting because it means first it means that our thoughts, our mindset changes as time flows, it changes. So today you might think something, and next next generation, next 10 years, they don't think like that at all. In fact, they think you are wrong. So that yeah, so that's what I that you know so that's what the thing that strikes me as very interesting is about the word zeitgeist is that in particular is because is when it applies to concepts of morality and ethics. Now, as you know, morality and ethics is it's like a hot button issue because each person, you feel you have certain morality, certain things is taboo. You shall never do. If you do it, all the people in society, your friends, including all the people in society think whoever did touch the taboo is a bad guy, should be put to jail or whatever, punished. For example, gay, okay, homosexuality. Yeah. So let's say 20, 30 years ago, it's almost universally everywhere around the world in United Nations, whatever United Nations, fuck, USA, they would say, oh, you are gay, you are a criminal, you fucking ass, you are a criminal, we're gonna put you in jail. Yeah, that's morality. Okay. So but today, of course, it's almost the opposite. Let's not say today. Let's say in 2000s. Okay, 2000 to 2010. Gay is fine. Gay is well, yeah, fucking ass, but well, especially today, it's it's like it becomes totally the opposite. Um, so that is an illustration of change of morality. Okay. Now another very trite example is slavery. Slavery is one thing that Americans are obsessed about. Every American, uh, and many Europeans, white people typically, they have an obsession about this slavery. Okay. But anyway, slavery is another example where you can see that the morality takes a 180-degree turn. So back then, like I don't know when, like 200 years ago at least, or 150 years ago, something. Slave is good. It's a good thing. It helps the economy, and it put people in proper place, so everyone you know do good things for the world, something like that. They have reasons. Each era, okay, they have plenty of reasons. They have volume tomes of reasons written about it in stone. Okay, this is why they believe this way. This is the moral principles. They have like the volumes writing about it, and everyone in the society believes that way. However, maybe 10 years after, 50 years after, 100 years after, things turns around. Morality, the concept of morality and ethics. So slavery is an example, gay is an example. These are two, you know, popular American brand. The American brand, they think of these. Okay, what about some other examples that's not the typical American? Let's see if I can find one. Well, another example is sexuality. Okay, as you know, but that's also typical American thing. You know, the change of morality, the change of perception, the change of moral um, uh, uh, particular view. In America, in U.S. history, is sexuality is another one of them. Because in the 60s we have sexuality, sexual revolution, and today is, as you know, we have Tinder or whatever. It's it also became some kind of extreme. It's, as opposed to 1960s or before. So that's, you can say this. So that's another change of attitude about morality. But again, that's typically a concern of American. So I'm trying to think of, is there some other example that does not involve American? But hold on a second on that. Let me talk about another American issue. Well, because I'm American, so I lived here, all my adult life. So anyway, so let's talk about another issue. Is the Oh yeah, so well, I'm not sure I can actually mention that word. It's the uh, yeah. Let's not talk about that. Okay, so what about an example where change of moral stance that is not a typical American issue? I don't know. The cleaning truck is making a lot of noises. So anyway, so change of moral stances. Okay, so let's stop there. So yeah, so I'm saying, there are, this change of moral stances, and that is always to me interesting, because one thing you have to realize is that morality or ethics, your particular culture or region, is very strong, because those who do not abide by it, you get to you get to pushed into jail. But however, it changes, like after 50 years or 100 years, it changes completely, complete reversal. So the question is, how is it right when let's say today, when you have certain thought about moral issues, that certain things you should never do. But if you look at history, your morality changes. So your your strong opinion to such a degree that you want to put someone in jail today may not be so, after, a few generations. So why is that? So maybe, so there's a kind of a conflict, kind of a conflict. So maybe you shouldn't believe certain morality as strongly. They are things. Yeah, so this is the interesting thing to me. Okay, I kind of digressed, and then so break the loop. So I'm thinking of going back to talk about YouTube, but I don't know. So how many people are watching? 8 people watching. But so any comments? Break the loop. Any thoughts? Anyone? Any thoughts about YouTube? I because unless you guys have other topics, then I talk about that. Then I go back to YouTube. So I've been coding. So in the past few days, uh, yeah, JavaScript is one thing I'm doing. Um, yeah, what's up with you? What have you been doing? So let's go back to YouTube. So YouTube. So there are a lot of people I like on YouTube. I like people who are honest and uh, you know, H3 Productions. H3 Productions. They are good. He's kind of the he's kind of like it's not technical channel. Most YouTube channels are not technical channels, and he's a guy I like. He talk about random everyday things, typically related to gamers, kind of like in the gamer community or the I would call YouTube young people community. They talk about all sort of things. They also talk a lot about YouTube drama, like what's going on YouTube. Some big few million followers. YouTube star did something to someone. Things like that. And he's got 6 million followers, and these people. I think as long as you have few million followers, you are pretty much a millionaire. uh, these people make a lot of money. And another guy I like to mention is this Boogie guy. Boogie. So H3 is run by two guys, Ethan and his wife. Ethan. So Ethan is this guy, Ethan, and his wife is the here. This is Ethan. That's his wife. His wife is usually with him in the show. Uh, his wife is from Israel, and Ethan is from he's born in U.S., but I think he's Jew. I don't know much about those issues, but anyway, he met his wife and got married, and there's a video about that. That's fantastic to watch. He went to Israel and married, picked up this girl, and that became his wife. So he's although the topics his channel topics are not something I would be too interested, because but he's a good person. Okay, I like him. Because these guys, they talk about truth. They talk about not they are not phony, not they are not fake. They talk whatever they whatever they are doing, as opposed to big corporation news reporters, news anchor. They dress nice, and usually they have like this conversation like, oh yeah, 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 this seems like they are so friendly, smiles, and the fuck they I cannot. I watched them and I was fascinated. Just look at they talk, and they're smooth. Unlike me, okay, doesn't talk so smoothly. They talk so smoothly, glide, and they talk about news, and they laugh naturally. And they fuck is from news corporations. Like every news station is doing that. Sometimes they have more formal. More formal is like you have a guy with a tie or a woman with some women clothes, and they report news. But more in the past 10 years, it's more like you have several guys or women. You sit in kind of some kind of a round table or lounge, and you do news kind of in a chatty, more casual style. These fuckheads, these elite, these looking nice and talking smooth kind of people. I have a problem with them usually in society. Like when you see a group of people all having fun, and I run away. Not because usually it's just these people on the surface, they are so nice. They are not doing. they won't do you good when you are not them. Okay, so that's the that's the fake kind of thing. That's a fake. You see this kind of thing in every place you would expect. For example, if you go to a job with a website, Stack Overflow, they have a job listing. Each company posts their jobs. Usually it's like they have a photo, right? Often they have a photo, maybe of their office, or of their corporation's team. Usually it's like pretty people, so everything is so nice. Those are facts. So yeah, but Ethan, for example, a lot YouTubers, I like them because they are not these from these corporations, which has like a whole department of public relations. So these YouTubers, just like me, you are just a person. You do whatever to try to make your living. So Ethan is one of the such people. But however, let's talk about his content. His content is typical of the young YouTuber crowd. The content is rather, it's kind of, it's fun to watch them. Sometimes it's funny, and you get information about what's going on YouTube. But on the whole, it's not something I would watch, because it's like the millennial generation. There's nothing there. It's like empty. There's no learned. Let's put it this way: like if you are a professor, you spend 10 years, you know, graduate PhD degree, then you do postdoc, then you become a instructor, then you become assistant professor, then you become a professor, or tenured professor. You typically you take 20 years study some subject, then you become a scholar or knowledgeable about that. Then depending on how good you are, then you do research. Then you become a accomplished expert of some area, meaning that your name will be part of the history when it comes to certain subject. Because you discover, may it be history, may it be sciences, math, or a new theory. You contributed to the whole humanity something. And those are not easy things. It takes 20 years or 30 years of your lifetime study on a specific subject. That's what I call learned men. Okay, or in the old times, it's called learned men. um, because you spend the time to learn things. When you talk, when you talk to these learned men, when they talk, they doesn't matter what they say, the way they say it, even the style, because it conveys. Speech is not what you think, like what you actually said is the content. No, but actually, like more than 50% is the background information that passes along with speech. The intonation, the style, the way you say it. The way you talk about certain things that pass along is information. So when you talk to learned men, and Jordan Peterson is an example. Camille Paglia is another example, and there are quite a few. Okay, doesn't matter what subject you learn things. Because of their background knowledge about the whole world and issues, but not from these kind of YouTubers. Okay, this YouTuber Fox, Ethan. So I like this Ethan guy, and but you watch a lot, tons of them. You watch them, they have zero empty content. They blah, 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 something is funny, blah blah. KFC memes, KFC Vogue success, pranksters ranking, YouTube prankster ranking, Instagram real versus fake. You watch them. This is nothing. It's empty. But that makes money. That's a lot of these people do these things, and that's what people watch. And this is part of the reason of the millennial generation. They kind of degenerated. They have no knowledge. They have no learning. They have no aspiration of things. They just talk about drama, means drama. Oh, this, that. So that characterizes many of these YouTube channels. Okay, there is, for example, Shoe on Head. Many of them are like that. Um, and they all have like millions of followers. They are millionaires and tons of gamers. They are all like that. It's like there's zero content of their stuff. So Break the Loop says, I've been continuing to learn Java and started reading about autonomous driving technology. Oh, okay. There is a guy named Lex Friedman that works in autonomous driving. I've been listening to his podcast. Oh, Lex Friedman. Okay, I don't know that guy. Let's look up. Uh, Lex Friedman. Oh, so he's talking Joe Rogan. Oh, Joe Rogan interviews Lex Friedman. So that might be an interesting thing to watch. Joe Rogan is kind of like an idiot. But I cannot stand his show. But however, he interviews a lot of people, and those people are interesting. But every time, Joe Rogan is like this clown. Like he's just drinking and drink beer and drink and smoking his marijuana. He sloppy and he's so he interviews many interesting people, and I watched quite a lot of them. But every time the interesting people is telling an interesting story or thought, then Joe Rogan interrupts them and start to you know babble about his idiotic thoughts. Oh, but I think this way. You know what? My one of my experiences, blah 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 blah, blah. Idiot Joe Rogan. So this Lex Friedman. So who is he? So okay, I'm probably gonna look into a little bit to see who he is, because this is this. So apparently he's a AI related researcher or something. So it is of interest to me. So Break the Loop says autonomous driving seems like a very very difficult problem to solve. Yeah, it seems to. So there's a million edge cases: driving in the dark, rain, snow, weird intersections, different kind of merging. Yeah, I've also been watching the show Black Mirror. It's a great modern Twilight Zone type show that has lots of neat futuristic ideas. Okay, I have people who has been telling me about Black Mirror, and finally I have watched it. I have watched like 2 episodes. uh, so I heard that like some people had told me about Black Mirror, and like on Twitter, or you have your communities, right? Whoever you hang out with. So I have my community, which usually are people who follow me because of my Emacs stuff, programming stuff, usually. So sometimes, we'll chat. They'll suggest me books to read, or for example, the book you suggested, Break the Loop, the by Ryan Aaron, what's her name? Um, so that's an interesting book. But what is the name? Uh, do you remember? I could remember, but usually uh, The Fountainhead. Yes, The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Yes. So that seems interesting book. But yeah, again, but it's a big book. I'm kind of old. So I looked into. So it's always great to hear uh, your people, your friends, telling you about some things. So 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 what I was saying, so communities, yeah, your friends, tell you, yeah. So I heard about Black Mirror, so I did look up, So usually, when people tell me, and sometimes, yeah, I don't have time because I'm kind of getting old. I need to, God, work on my website, do my own things. It's like every time you talk about something, but all your friends like, oh, you should listen to that song. You should read this book, and oh, have you heard of this philosopher? So it's kind of you really don't have time to go into, because I mean, this is one of the common phenomenon is that in a book tour, some author, some great science fiction writer or something, some novelist, they tour. And people are asking me, oh, but have you heard of this author, which is my favorite? The fan asks the his idol, the author. But usually, very often, okay, the author goes, "Oh, no, I haven't read anything of that by her," or and that's very common, because if you look at all the books, all the even just limit to the great books, there's too many for one person to go through. That's kind of factor of life, not counting, this also applies to songs, to movies, to books, to philosophers. There's just, I mean, if you I thought about this at one time. Human history, they keep growing, the billions of people. So nobody, that what we can possibly know is become exponentially smaller. So anyway, so back to Black Mirror. So a friend suggested, so after some people suggest me something, I would look up, try to look up a little bit, usually starting with Wikipedia. And so I found Black Mirror. So this very interesting, the story attracted me. So, but eventually I went to this great friend. I have a friend. Uh, he's Vietnamese by origin. He showed me. We watched together Black Mirror, the show for so I watched a couple of episodes. So that was great. Um, yeah, but I don't watch. I don't have a TV since 2000, since year 2000. So, and in particular, I don't have a TV since year 2000. So that means I don't watch any TV programs. But however, I do, watch videos like, I went to buy DVD. But however, since about 2010, even that stopped. So since about 2010, I kind of don't have, except YouTube. I just watch YouTube. So I don't have, well, I don't have money to to watch TV or to watch movies or buy DVDs. But anyway, so that touches another topic. Okay, today there's a Game of Thrones. I've been hearing that on Twitter for for many years. I don't know what the fuck that is. Game of Thrones. But I just know it's some kind of popular TV show, which my initial stance is always like, I I don't care, some pop show again, these people are talking about it. But then I started to look into last year Game of Thrones. That's amazing. That's an epic. It's a huge epic. Beginning as I begin by typically I begin by going to Wikipedia. uh, then I go to find other information. There's Wikia, and so many information, and there are YouTube clips of Game of Thrones. They are like 10,000s or 100,000s. Probably 100,000 is more right. Clips of Game of Thrones on YouTube. So I watched a lot. Okay, or on YouTube, or just reading the wikis, about all the characters. It's like this is amazing. It's truly so. Game of Thrones, I would consider truly amazing show. Not for several reasons. First of all, it's well made. It's just like a well made movie. You have these, you have great actors. Actors you have to act, great and great. Costumes or special effects. What makes a movie great? A show. Entertainment. A show. That's one aspect. Thrones is a great show. It's a show, entertainment. Special effect, pleasing to your eyes, eye candy. Okay, that's one thing. But the content is fantastic. It's epic. The story, it's epic. I love epic stories like the Dune. There's a science fiction Dune. Have you read that or seen it? Dune is also great. So so I've been so Game of Thrones is just epic. So yeah, and it seems so yesterday I think it last season the finale ended, and it's somewhat disappointing. So what about pirating movies, torrent? Well, I have done some of that in around late 2000s, like 2005 to 2010. I've done some, usually movies. So I watched, some movies that way. But I haven't been doing that for the past 5 years. Maybe once, last few months ago, I did, one time, I kind of also distancing from that, from the Torrent and Pirate Bay, because for actually multiple reasons. One is that I'm kind of getting old. It's a fact. It's on my mind all the time. I'm 50, so different life at different stages. You have different priorities and goals, and certain interests you had, you lost. Like when you are a teen, maybe you are into comics or movies. You know everything about every movie coming out. When you are 30s, maybe you are interested in relationship, in girls, or something, or your career, or when you are 40s, then you know maybe you have children. Interest changes. You don't have the interest you had anymore. So right now I don't find, I don't watch movies much, that because movies, I'm not young guy anymore. Movies, Superman, Batman, well, that's kind of silly. uh you know and so that's one thing, and then I don't have money to watch it. Then and then also I don't use torrent now, because there's like we are reaching this information age, AI age. So torrent, there's lots of things going on. You don't know. There's FBI, this behind it. You don't know what the. I haven't actually ever tried to study the torrent technology. I meant to when it came out 20 years ago, but I actually never did. So part of the reason I don't use torrent is that I'm not sure what's really going on. The Pirate Bay, and I'm not. I don't want to. And also there's also this thing that they are pirated stuff. They are just pirating copyrighted stuff. So you shouldn't do it if So yeah, for several reasons. So I haven't been doing that. So I think maybe about it. That's about it. So Lex Friedman, I'm going to look into, and some of the YouTube. I haven't even begin to talk about the people I want to talk about. because there's so many. There's this guy I really want to um, Boogie. That's okay. So let's find his name. So Boogie is another guy I can trust. Okay, this guy, he's has really has a great story. Okay, he was basically he's super fat, like 300, 400 pounds. Okay, he's about to die. This is back then, 5 years ago. So and I discovered him, like 7 years ago or something. It's amazing. You gotta watch some of his old. It's like this is him. This was him 7 years ago. So he started. He's desperate. He's about nobody loves him. He is about just to die because he's so fat and he's being abused when he's a child by his parents. Serious abuse, not American. Americanized abuse. Like serious. Violence and beating. Mayhem. And then he started to post a video just you know just to ridicule himself. Then he became popular, and then he got millions of followers, and it became his career. So YouTube, in a sense, he that changed his life. So he became a YouTube star, and his video became kind of like comedy. That's what he do, and he's truly intelligent. He's like this boogie guy. I don't know if you guys watched him. He's not, for example, that compared to that H3. I don't want to compare, but this boogie guy. I watched him. He's a smart guy. He really got talents about and the way he's thinking. He's really great. So I like him a lot. Uh, but again, his content is not the type I'm in. Okay, I'm into math. Okay, I'm into philosophy. I'm into AI. I'm into tech. I'm into knowledge. I'm into in-depth historical knowledge or economics, like the Jordan Peterson and Camille Paglia. These people, that's kind of the category that the things I'm interested. But Boogie, because he grew up. He's very bad situation. He don't have college or university. He does he doesn't. He's not he doesn't have the opportunity. He doesn't study this kind of thing. But however, he's still great. He's just great guys. So his content is kind of like comedy and YouTube happenings, gaming communities, this kind of thing. So as far as content goes, it's not for me. I don't I don't watch it much. But however, here's the important thing. However, you see, even though he doesn't talk about philosophy kind of scholarly thing, okay, that's not his thing. But because he's a famous YouTuber and because he's just like a human animal, just like everyone else, so he encounter things like social issues that any of us encounters, and sometimes he comment on them, and that is great. So that is a great source for me because he has commented on the Anita Scasium, this scumbag. Okay, there's a artist, the feminist con artist. Okay, so he has commented on his point of view and also his interactions with that woman. Okay, and so when Boogie says something, I believe. Okay, this is when you learn something from someone. There are billions of things in the world. You cannot be sure yourself what is true, what is not true. But you can trust someone, you have a certain your friends or someone you have made sure that you can actually trust. Then when they say something of some subject that's then you can trust. Um, so I really like Boogie in that aspect. So because Boogie has been on being interviewed by H3. That's first. That's how I found out about H3 in the first place. So anyway, there's a lot of things on the internet. There's too many things you can spend your whole life in. But anyway, Boogie, that's this Boogie guy. Yeah, and there's so many YouTube people. I guess that's it today. Let's see the comments. So in the 1990s, I used to participate in BBS wares scene. Okay, I was part of a group that spread games and programs illegally. Okay, don't. Okay. You go throughout certain. So I don't get. So I don't get what. So like on Pirate Bay, okay, and so on Parabay, you have all these movies, and it seems there are people who are dedicated uh, to how do you call them? Rip, yeah, rip the movie to rip them. Like they have people dedicated to that, but they do they? I don't. Do they make money out of that? I don't think so, right? So I mean, but anyway, so it seems to me, so there are these people who dedicated to rip these movies, or also there are software. It's almost like all software you have a ripped version. There are people hackers. Okay, I understand for some certain hacker things, they make a lot of money out of it. They can sell their tools or whatever or secret information. But for pirating movies, do they make money? I don't think so, right? So, what is the incentive for them to keep doing that, to rip movies? I don't, I never get that. And and it seems to me it's not so. Okay, no money in where's in. So So why would people do that? Is it because you deeply believe that it should be free? So anyway, so I think that's about it today. So yeah, I'm gonna take a walk and stuff. So break the loop. Thank you for coming by. Haven't seen you for a while. Uh, so break the loop says the incentive is twofold. One, it is a game unto itself with a scoreboard. Oh, people recognize and respect the biggest names. Oh, okay. The second reason is to get the illegal games and programs for free. Oh, I see. But number one is the main reason people are in it. Basically, it's for notoriety. Notoriety. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Breakthrough. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.